Howdy, I'm Kanard Lewis. And what do we have here, folks? Our third guest on the TKW video series. And what's our third guest name?
Destiny.
Destiny what?
Martinez.
Nice to meet you, Destiny Martinez. And this is our third guest, interviewing her, talking about her life. So, Destiny, just tell me a little about yourself, major, what you do, stuff like that, simple stuff.
I'm a major in audio and radio.
Okay.
I'm 20.
Okay.
So I'm old.
Not that old, but old.
More into music than anything else. That's about it.
I like that. So you said you're an audio radio major. I'm an audio radio major. I love to, again, use my voice to speak. I love being on the air. But why did you choose audio radio as your major instead of biology, chemistry, theater? Why choose audio radio?
I was gonna minor in theater, but I decided not to because it's gonna be hard to get into if I really wanted to. I came here as a technician for recording, and I didn't have a chance to audition for it, so audio and radio was my second best choice, so I went with it.
So you missed the audition?
Yeah, I had to cancel it.
And why is that?
I didn't have the money to get here.
So, that's always a big thing, financial, obviously that FAFSA always gets me because, it's like you work hard throughout your life in high school, they tell you, get the 3.0 better GPA, do all these extracurricular activities, and then when you are applying to college, you look at your rejection versus acceptance letter rate, you look at the amount of money that they give you, and it's not something that you want. So, with money, how did you deal with, accepting that reality that you didn't have enough money to go here? Because that probably must have been a little devastating.
I just accepted it. I'm pretty good with being prepared for the worst and hoping for the best. So I knew what it was, so I just went on with what I needed to do.
And you say that you are good at preparing for the worst. And so what has been in your past that has set you up to just think that the worst is always going to come?
Just everything doesn't always go as well as it should be. Just when you want something to happen, it doesn't always happen. So when it doesn't always happen at a constant rate, you just get prepared for it not to happen, so you don't get your hopes up for no reason.
So if you don't mind, is there anything specific? It doesn't have to be everything. You don't have to give me a long list, but, a couple of things that you have seen that have not been the way you want it to be, and then you think that, okay, it's not going to be right.
I think just security at home is a big one. Never really had it as often as we should have. My mom's a single mom, so of course struggles are always there, but that's a known fact for any single parent today's age. So when it's not stable at home, you expect it not to be stable at home. So it's just a recurring factor.
That's true. Stability is always key. What I've always found, two things could happen when you don't have a stable home. Is one, you can go out and live your life not wanting to confine yourself to stable things because that's all you know. It's not living in a stable home, not living in a stable job, not having that stable lifestyle. But then other people, say, what? I didn't have a stable lifestyle. I didn't have a stable home growing up. So I had to have that stable lifestyle as an adult because I want to control what's going to happen. So, what route do you think that you're going to be facing? Do you feel that, because, you talk about you minoring or like you wanting to minor in theater, but you knew that it would have been hard to achieve that dream. And being a theater major or just acting in general is not something that people think as a practical job or something that you're going to be very successful in. So, why give up on that dream when you know deep within yourself that you kind of sense that acting, that theater vibe?
Well, my family had a big influence on making sure I took a route that's going to actually get me somewhere. So they're a huge factor. Even though my mom wasn't always secure, I always had a stable family, so it wasn't like I didn't have anything. I always had exactly what I needed. I wasn't left out.
That's good.
But in the same sense, it's like I'd rather be stable since I don't have stability all the time. I'd rather make sure I'm on a path of stability so I am reaching what I want to do. I'd rather be stable than anything else.
Cause you don't want.
I don't want to live my past.
Yeah, that's always a scary thing. But do you feel at the same time that you fearing your past is inhibiting your future, or inhibiting the now?
It's a learning experience.
It's all a learning experience.
I'm happy with my minor now, which is film studies. Like, I'm okay with that minor. It's another thing that I want to do. It's not like I'm psyching myself out completely. I'm still doing something that I want to do.
That's good.
So,
that's good.
It evens out.
And I always talk about like experiences and what defines you. So what are you touched upon security at home, but what are a few experiences that have affected you, traumatically, emotionally, physically, whatever type of experiences that you have gone through that really define who Destiny Martinez is now? Because my past, and that's why I am the way I am. But what in your past, besides the jobs, besides the home security, really shapes you?
Just everything that I've seen in my life. I've seen, at a young age, I've had to grow up. I was really young when I had to make sure I was able to do what I need to do on my own and just make sure I can take care of myself. And I think I did that really well. And just being thrown into the wolves kind of helped shape me as who I am. But I've seen way too much to actually air it out. There's way too much for me to actually start. We'll be here for hours.
So if again, we don't need to be here for hours. We could just be here for a few minutes. So I don't want to push you to say things that you don't want to say. But what is something that's on your mind that you think that somebody could benefit? Hearing from you. What's out. I know you have a lot of deep pain in you. I got that too, and there's things I wouldn't necessarily air all the time, but there's some. So do you mind sharing, and what would be some of those things?
I've seen my mom actually get abused a lot in my childhood, and that was hard to grow up for because I always felt like I was her protector. So for me, it feels like at some point I wasn't old enough to be able to do what I needed to do to get with her and make sure she was okay. I always feel like I need to take care of my mom because that's my number one fan. Like that's my heart. Without her, I honestly don't know what I'd do. But for me, it's like at a young age I can't do too much, but I always wanted to do more. And sometimes when the abuse came in, I also got abused. So it was just a struggle between being able to help and being able to actually maybe just set myself out of the situation completely.
And how did you handle that abuse? It's probably not, there's obviously different forms of abuse, physical, verbal, mental. So how did you deal with that?
This point in the situation I'm thinking about was a mixture of it got physical, and my mom actually had to hold me back from actually fighting her boyfriend at the time, because I was getting ready to punch him in the face. And
must have been that serious then.
Yeah, he tried to pull her down the stairs, and I wasn't having it. And cops were called. The situation got handled, but even or it's just one of the scenarios. So.
And how did you keep hope? Because many people that have been abused, have seen people abused, have not lived in a stable home, that have been bullied and stuff like that, have unfortunately have committed suicide. Have ran away from home, have done things that they're not proud of. So how did you keep your mind in check, or how did you keep yourself moving through all this pain?
I just know that I have to tough it out and that I have to be strong for her. And my family is a huge support, so they know that I just got to keep focused on what my goal is, even though there's things going on. I just tough it out, basically. I'm just used to it.
And do you feel like you tough it out by building up walls to help yourself move through? Because people do that for protection. I'm a prime example. Back in my day and even now times where you kind of have to build up walls to deal with it, and then as time goes by, you take one down and you deal with the problem at hand. But how were your walls built, and do you feel like that you're ready to tear them down?
I'm never going to be ready to tear them down.
And why is that?
I just feel like my walls protect me, and I'd rather be protected. That's just the person that I am. At some point, maybe I'll let them down slowly and surely, but I don't plan on to anytime soon.
Because that past has been very traumatic or very, I guess scary in your mind.
It's just a learning experience.
Learning experience. And, we're talking about, hope and helping out others. Did you, people sometimes feel hopeless or helpless. You probably felt that way growing up. So learning from that experience, what do you try to do now to make sure that you're always helping because you couldn't help back then?
I do that every day. I feel like all my friends come to me. I'm their go-to, what happened, what should I do, have you been in a situation? I usually have been in the situation that they're going through. So based on what I know and what I wanted to change or what I would have changed, I tell them based on my stories, and I let them know how it is, what happened, and what road I would take if I was them. And, no matter what, it's always left in their hands, but I am there for anybody who wants to talk.
So your story actually helped out others.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Well, thank you, Destiny, for your help. Again, this is our third interview, and, there's a reason why I'm incorporating these interviews into the series. We all have a story. We all have something to say. She had it. I have it. My camera person has it. But that's the part of life. Is that although her story was painful, although my story is painful, although stories in general are painful to talk about, she's a prime example where her story actually helped out people. I'm a prime example where my story helps out people. So you need to just let go of that fear that your story is going to be hurtful to you, because you already survived that traumatic experience. Now you're just dealing with the recovery. It's like you've been through it, and your story can actually help a 6-year-old boy, a 10-year-old girl that's dealing with the same stuff that you've been through, and you can save their life. You could actually step in, give your words of wisdom, because your story has power. Your story has wisdom. And that's the beauty of it. We need to speak more about our lives so that we can all be harmonized together. I don't just grow to grow. I don't just grow by myself. The people around me help me grow. Same with her. People around her helped her grow. That's why TKW is TKW. If you don't have a shirt, contact me, 917-612-5576. Get yourself a TKW shirt. Anyway, that's the end of the show, and hope to see you again next week. Thank you.